Merry Christmas. Now that is a saying that you get to say during a certain time of the year, which happens to be this time of year, which is why I'm saying it to you right now. And we have a very special episode for you on this wonderful holiday. And so without further ado, hit it, James.
The Brad Johnson Show.
I'm turning losers like you into winners like me.
You're about to enter the winning zone.
All right, now, I am Brad Johnson, your host on The Brad Johnson Show, here to deliver the winningness that you need to have a Christmas holiday that is more winning than you've ever had before, which probably isn't saying much considering who you are. But I'm not doing it alone this time, actually. If you've been listening recently, you have probably heard that my co-host left. Now he's back, though. So my co-host here is James Kirkland, assistant to the host. Is probably the better term there. James, back behind the microphone. So
here I am.
You can talk now.
Thank you. It's just great to be back. I know everyone missed me. I know you missed me for sure. But yeah, I'm so happy to be back.
So I don't want to dwell on the past. I think sometimes the past is better left, in some place other than the present or the future. That being said, though, I think it would behoove you, and that's a big word, which means basically that you should tell the people why you came back, because I think it's very enlightening to kind of maybe we could draw a lesson from it, I think, potentially.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, I learned so much from my experience. So you probably heard the episode. We had the rancher on, and I switched over to working for him for a few months, and it was an amazing experience. Probably one of the best work experiences I've ever had.
I don't think we can go that
just
far.
Such kind people, just really compensated me well for my time.
He was a bit of a jerk.
But his business was great, though, and that's really what I look for. Like, the people can not be so great, but as long as business is good, that's what matters. So I was with him for a couple months, and I just realized that this is where I was supposed to be until I started to sneeze uncontrollably every day that I was on this ranch. And I came to realize that I have a severe cow allergy. Not to milk. I'm not lactose intolerant. Actually, I'm very lactose tolerant. But I am allergic to cows themselves. So unfortunately, I did have to step down from my position, which there were a lot of tears. People were very sad to see me go. But I told them they could always come visit us here in our studio. But here I am, and I'm back.
Basically, what happened is James flew the coop, realized how good he had it here at the Brad Johnson Enterprises, and basically he came crawling back, just begging for your job. It was pretty pathetic, I gotta say. But that's kind of to be expected. So, I guess I'd like to say welcome back, but I think that would be a little too gratuitous in this circumstance. So, yeah. All right. So with that out of the way, a little interior housekeeping. It is the Christmas holiday. Now, people, this is the 25th of December, which happens to be Christmas, which happens to happen every year. And it is a wonderful holiday where we get to celebrate with friends, family, but most importantly, make tons of money. So that is why, as you get into the making of money, it can be a little stressful. And nobody knows that better than I do, because nobody handles it better than I do. And I think everyone would agree with that. Right, James?
Definitely. You're really just a master at taking stress and just compressing it down further into your being and just letting that drive you further into success.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the goal with stress. So today we're talking about 5 stress-free holiday tips to really help you get through this. And this is specifically for entrepreneurs because, the holiday season, there's just so much going on, so many things happening that if you don't stay on top of it, you can just completely implode with the amount of stress and worry and things going on in your life. Because let's face it, people, not normal people, but people who well, I say normal because I'm referring to me, which is not normal. So I guess abnormal people like me would say that, holidays, like, let's just keep, full business, full steam ahead, on the train to winning town. But other people are like, oh no, you should take some time off and really just, chill and have a break. And I'm just like, that is completely pointless and a waste of time. But other people are not feeling that way. So first thing you got to realize that things kind of slow down during the holiday season.
Right. Which honestly opens the door to so much opportunity for you. If you keep hustling throughout the holidays and don't stop, and you find those open doors where people have slowed down, you can pick up their slack and take advantage of their laziness.
Exactly. And I'm actually, I think I might be doing a little mini episode, a little solo shot of Brad. Like I like to call the solo episodes Shot of Brad. I think that's really catchy title for those. But kind of just on the whole concept of making more time by doing more things in less time. And that really just puts you ahead of people. And so, yeah, I think that'll be good kind of around New Year's sometime. We'll do an episode on that. But in the meantime, it is time to go over these tips because, I mean, you know me, James, whenever there's 5 tips, you cannot keep me away.
Right. The tips are always going to come back and to poke you.
Yeah. All right. Let's hit number 1.
Number 1, set unreasonable expectations for yourself.
Yes. Okay. So this goes back into the whole mindset thing. If you expect something, it is going to happen. Okay. It's called The Secret. Okay. People, yes. You may have heard about that. It's not technically a secret anymore, which is why I don't call it The Secret, because that's a stupid name, because it's not a secret anymore.
Right. It should be something everybody knows. And really,
and it is.
Yeah. And really, this should be unreasonable expectations allow for unreasonable amounts of success and money. I think that's really what we're going for here.
Yeah, so you probably wouldn't know a whole lot about that, seeing that you've just spent the last month or two with somebody like Austin James who has no idea what he's doing.
Well, we saw some unreasonable success, I'd say.
Yeah, I think just some unreasonable accents going on there. Just very unreasonable. Anyway, so the whole idea here is with your holidays that you set unreasonable expectations around the holiday season, because during that time you are like James said, you're hustling, you're grinding, getting that grind just right so that you can have the caffeine that you need to move forward. And as those unreasonable expectations are pushing you toward the end of the year, then you'll get more stuff done than you would otherwise.
Right. This is really your chance to get ahead of all the competition, which obviously you shouldn't have competition in the first place. But yeah, definitely pull ahead. And along those lines that you mentioned, you definitely double your caffeine intake as part of this. And that's just going to help you push past and meet those unreasonable expectations.
Yeah. And that's honestly why last year I think we had Sky on right before Christmas, which couldn't get him in. He was off. I think he was doing like reindeer rescue or something like that in Scandinavia. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that and an eggnog tasting tour of Sweden, I think.
That was what I was going to mention, was his personal recipe for eggnog. So if you want to go back to, I think it was last year's Christmas episode, right before Christmas, there was he gave the recipe there for his eggnog, which, man, that stuff will knock you out in a really good way. All right, so that's number 1. Let's hit number 2.
Create a risk optimization plan.
Now, James, when people talk about risk, what do I always say about risk?
Risk is only risky if you're the one incorporating that risk into your life's plan.
Basically, yeah. And what I mean by that is that risk is only really risky if you don't know it's coming. If you know that risk is coming, then it's not technically a risk at all.
Right. Basically, you're stacking the deck for yourself when you're taking a risk. So you're looking into the future. You're going to draw the top 3 cards off the pile, but you're going to place those cards there yourself, so you know exactly what to expect with your business.
Yeah. So that's the whole concept of a risk optimization plan. And now the reason we talk about risk in this time of year is because, like I said, a lot of people aren't focusing on business, which does give you a lot of opportunity to hustle, but it also means that they're probably not going to be taking your calls. Like I was doing just some sales calls for the little project that I'm working on. During Christmas, we see the sales of all the Brad Johnson industry products just skyrocket. It's crazy. But as I was doing some sales calls, just keep myself sharp. I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs, they kind of get to the point like where I'm at, with just money just constantly coming in without you having to do anything whatsoever. But I want to keep my skills sharp. That's why I'm doing something like that. So I was getting on some sales calls with some hot leads to sell some roller creepers, some luxury roller creepers, and nobody would take my call. I mean, it's like, people, it's a Wednesday, like
unreal.
Yeah, it's Christmas, but it's a Wednesday. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, we're recording a podcast episode on Christmas. Like, you can't stop. You can't stop your forward momentum.
Can't stop, won't stop. All right. So that's what I'm talking about there is, since they won't take your calls, that's a risk. But you already know it is. So you have stacked the deck so that you have your sales tunnel full as you go into the holidays. So you're prepared for whatever may happen. All right. So next one is the following one.
Number 3 is plan for a post-holiday holiday.
Okay. Now, what does this mean? This means that holidays sometimes aren't restful in any way, shape, or form. Now,
or you skip it completely.
Yes, or that. But when I'm talking about the entrepreneurial life, there is so much hustle and grind, but it has to be combined with the fact that you don't do any work that you don't want to do. Okay. That's when you made it. That's freedom right there. Okay. So if you have the ability to just hustle and grind through the holiday, you're making up time. And then after the holiday, then you just take a chill couple days, go to your beach in Maui, like I do, go just take some time off, go skiing in Tahoe. I mean, whatever it takes to just, really unwind. And I think that's really important.
Yeah. It's really just a matter of creating your own holiday. Yeah, that if you're going to skip Christmas to keep working and get ahead, then you have to create your own holiday. Just have it be a celebration of you.
Yeah. And there is actually an International Brad Johnson Day, which, if you want to celebrate that, we could talk about that. So, and vacations, like, they're so good for your health. I read a stat one time that if you are an entrepreneur who have total freedom, you are 37% less likely to die of heart disease as long as you exercise daily and take a multivitamin at least 3 times a week. So little things like that add up. Yeah, don't quote me on that. I'm not a doctor. If we get Sky in here or something, but he's not a doctor either. Right, number 4.
Number 4, plug in more than usual.
Yeah, so a lot of people are like, it's the holidays, just focus on family and, spend time with them, FaceTime, stuff like that. But when they say FaceTime, they don't mean FaceTime, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what is happening with American language these days. It's just pathetic. I mean, what do you do when a word doesn't mean what a word means?
Exactly. It's kind of like the word Skype. Like, we all know what that means. It never had anything to do with actual face-to-face interaction. So why should FaceTime? You just know that that's meant to be an online interaction. And really, we all know that you have deeper and more meaningful conversations from your mobile devices. When you use emojis, those are so much more detailed ways of expressing yourself. So people get exactly what you're trying to say. Plus, you can use abbreviations, which really speeds up the efficiency of your conversations.
Get more conversation in. Yes. And, that's the thing about emojis. I mean, like when James first texted me about wanting to come back, he texted one of the embarrassed emojicon things. And I was like, I looked at that and I knew exactly what it meant. It meant that he regretted his decision. He felt horrible for, being such a jerk about it. And he totally realized that Austin James is a loser and the Brad Johnson is a winner and he wanted to be on the winning team. So, I mean, just that one emoji, I was like, boom, I got it. I understood. So, and the other thing is too, like he's so pale that like anytime there's any kind of like blood in his cheeks, like it just looks like he's actually bleeding. So the actual emoji is much less frightening than when James like actually in person has an embarrassed look on his face.
Well, that's one way to look at it, I suppose.
Yeah. All right. So that's number 4 is to just plug in more than usual. So like I said, this is all about reducing your stress during the holiday. Now, if that means that you just completely, unplug by plugging in, and by that, I mean that you unplug from humans and plug into your electronics and then interact with those humans on those electronics, you'll be much better off, much less stress. You don't even have to make a fancy dinner. You can just have your chef make it. And it's a lot cheaper when you have a chef make a meal for one instead of a large group of people. I found that out the hard way. Number 5.
Santa has unpaid helpers, and so should you.
Oh yeah.
So
okay.
True.
Okay. I don't know, James. We've talked about like in the course outsourcing. We've talked about outsourcing on the podcast multiple times. It always comes back to outsourcing. I just don't think people realize how much it does come back to outsourcing.
Yeah, it's definitely something that's overlooked far too often. And it really is a great way to reduce stress, because when you're not having to pay someone to do the work for you, like that's just the easiest way possible to reduce stress in your life and keep a hold of your money, that you don't have to be spending an arm and a leg to get the work done.
Exactly. And Santa Claus may be a historical character who's now dead, but we can still learn lessons from him. And
I don't think he was real, actually.
I think he was real, James. Okay.
I don't think slaves can fly.
I know history, James. That's one of the things that I know, among a lot of other things. I bet you Austin James wouldn't know that because
he actually owns a couple of reindeer, so I probably know a little more about that than some.
Definitely not good for beef production, I'll tell you. I know that too. Okay, like there's a lot of things I know. Anyway, all right, so there you have it, folks. Holidays, get rid of the stress, just be able to chill and enjoy it. And if you're listening to this on Christmas Day, I just got to hand it to you. Like, you are the hustler type of person, and I'd like to give you a special thank you. So, for listening to this on Christmas Day. So if you are listening to this on Christmas Day, even if you're not listening to this on Christmas Day, I would love to talk with you. So get in touch with me, and I've got a special Christmas gift that I want to give you. And, believe me, it's Brad Johnson giving a gift. So it's going to be amazing. And, can't wait to talk with you. So get in touch. All the ways to do that are in the show notes to make that happen, people.
So what exactly is the gift that you're going to be giving people if they listen?
Well, just wondering it's if I can have absolutely amazing. It's very one of those high dollar, high ticket items, but
okay.
It's for loyal listeners and for employees who've been at the company for longer than 2 months. So.
Oh, well, I've worked for you for several years. I mean,
it has to be continuous. If there's break, then that completely it stops the clock counting. So anyway, but yeah, if you are a loyal listener or a loyal employee who actually is stuck with me through thick and thin, then definitely get in touch with me and we'll make that happen. So anyway, any last words for the Christmas listeners there, James?
I'll just say Merry Christmas to one and all and everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on our show. I mean, I've just enjoyed being such an integral part of this just on an ongoing basis, and just being able to be one of the most loyal co-hosts that there is. So thanks.
To the host. All right. Great. That was kind of a waste of time, but Merry Christmas, everyone. Thanks for listening to The Brad Johnson Show. Give yourself the gift of Christmas cheer. Get in touch with me, and I will send that free gift your way. So look forward to talking with you guys soon. Have a great Christmas, and we'll talk to you next time. Ciao. Christmas style.
You've just listened to an episode of awesomeness. Now, go out and spread the awesomeness and help others fix the mess that is their life and help them stop being a loser and start winning in business, health, and their personal life by getting them to listen to The Brad Johnson Show. Book your face, tweet your tweets, and Insta your grams at Brad Johnson Show. The Brad Johnson Show. Winners only.